My apartment smells really good right now because I got some new candles yesterday. So I thought I would share with you what candles I got, as well as some tips for how I choose home fragrance. There is an art to choosing the right scents for you, and since I've been candle obsessed since childhood,
my mother practically birthed and raised me in our local Pier 1. We shopped there so much.
I think I can confidently say that I've grown into something of a candle connoisseur over the years. And along with each of the 5 candles I bought yesterday, I'm going to share a tip that I think will help you in all of your home fragrance endeavors. And if you're new here, my name is Steffi, and on this channel I share small apartment styling tips and cozy living inspiration. So the first candle I'm going to share with you that I got yesterday is Lemon Blackberry and Musk. I got this one at Nordstrom Rack, so it's one of the more budget-friendly candles. It was like 17 bucks, which for the size, that is pretty damn good. This thing is like almost the size of my head. So this fragrance is incredible. It has like this fresh lemony scent, and you know what it smells almost exactly like is, I don't know if you're a fan of the brand Fresh, their Sugar Body Scrub. This smells almost exactly like it. And that body scrub, in fact, everything that Fresh sells is definitely on the higher end. So basically to me, this smells like a high-end fragrance for like really cheap. The fragrance notes on this one are white citrus, lemongrass, verbena, basil, orange flower, and musk. What I really love about it is a lemony scent without smelling like Lysol. Which brings me to my first tip when choosing home fragrances for yourself. There are certain scents that I consider to be dangerous scents. And what I mean by this is these particular scents can often actually smell really bad. For example, lavender is a dangerous scent. I love the smell of lavender, of actual lavender, and there are some great lavender candles out there like L'Occitane. Their lavender fragrances are top of the line in my opinion, but a lot of lavender candles smell like public restrooms. So that is why I consider lavender to be one of those dangerous fragrances. Same thing with cedar. Cedar is another one of my favorite fragrance notes, but it often can smell like men's deodorant. And then anything lemon can sometimes smell like Lysol or some sort of cleaning agent. So I love it when I can find a lemon fragrance that doesn't make it smell like I just cleaned my apartment. Another candle that I got yesterday is also from Nordstrom Rack. It's Jasmine Neroli. So I really love this scent because it has a floral vibe, but also a little bit of a spice. I love a scent that combines floral feminine notes with kind of more spicy, musky, masculine notes. That kind of fragrance profile just really clicks with me and sort of my fragrance identity. Like I like fragrances that have a little bit of a duality to them, if you will, because I feel like I have a bit of a duality to me. I guess don't we all? Which leads me to my next tip, which is to do your best to try to hone in on what your fragrance identity is. Basically, when you're shopping for candles, start to delineate between the fragrances that just simply smell pretty versus the fragrances that actually really feel like you. A lot of the candles that I smell while shopping for candles, I like the scent, but it just doesn't really feel like me. We all have kind of a fragrance identity that's specific to the individual. And if we don't hone in on what our fragrance identity is, we can end up wasting money on fragrances that we don't really connect with when they fill our space. I'm not saying to limit yourself to just like one type of fragrance. There's no reason to be weirdly strict with ourselves when it comes to something as fun as home fragrance. But if we're trying to choose our scents wisely, then having a strong sense of self
sense of self. Get it?
Having a strong sense of self will help. And this jasmine neroli scent just clicks with me. It feels like me in scent form. Another candle I got yesterday is this whipped cream and pear from Anthropologie. It is a really lovely, lovely candle. The notes on this one are warm vanilla, fresh pear, whipping cream, and a hint of apple peel. So what I love about this candle is it will make your apartment smell like a French bakery. Not that I know what a French bakery smells like, but in my fantasies, this is what it smells like. But it's not just a simple sweet scent. I'm not really a fan of just your basic like vanilla or just basic sweet smelling candle. This has an interesting spin on the sweet smelling candle because of the pear addition to the sweetness of the whipped cream. The pear just gives this other dimension to the sweetness that is just really, really heavenly. And one thing about this candle is it may be small, but it packs a punch in terms of strength. This will fill your space with scent without being too strong. Which leads me to my next home fragrance tip, which is to consider strength and staying power when choosing your candles. We've all experienced the all too common disappointment of smelling a candle in the store and it smells incredible directly from the source, but then, alas, you bring it home, you light it, and it barely fills the space with that lovely scent. It's like not even having a candle lit. I really hate it when that happens. But what we can do is like read reviews ahead of time, especially when it comes to a more expensive candle, and specifically find reviews that mention the strength of the candle and reviews that mention the staying power of the candle or room spray. And also just, I think we all have to accept that there's a certain leap of faith that we take when we buy a candle. Sometimes I'll just buy a candle I like and just cross my fingers that the strength is powerful enough for the space. And then if it isn't, I just don't buy it again. Or I put it in the bathroom because bathrooms are small and better suited for weaker candles. Another candle I got yesterday is also from Anthropologie, and it's this violet leaf and oud. How pretty is this jar? And then, as luck would have it, it also smells divine. This is a very luxurious scent. And it should be. This is the most expensive candle I got yesterday at $38. Definitely a splurge. It is a big candle though, so that's good. Also, when you buy a candle that comes in a jar that's this pretty, you can hang on to the jar and use it for a multitude of other things. So your $38 is potentially going really far with a candle like this. So the fragrance notes for this candle are violet, black plum, oud wood, cashmere, and ambered oak moss. These are sexy fragrance notes, my friends. It's intoxicating. And what I really love about this scent, aside from its sexiness, is the complexity of the fragrance. Which leads me to my next tip, which is to look for scents that have an air of complexity to them. This means having multiple fragrance notes. And how interesting is that combination of notes? For me, a complex, sophisticated fragrance makes me feel two key sensations: pleasure and slight confusion. Like, I enjoy scents that I can't quite figure out. There's an air of mystery to scents like these, and that makes them endlessly interesting to continuously smell in your space. And this fragrance is definitely interesting, stimulating, and I can't quite figure it out, which means I can't stop smelling it. And the fifth and final candle I got yesterday is Macara by Voluspa. This is one of my favorite scents of all time, and it's been a while since I have bought it, so I was really excited to see it in Anthropology yesterday. The fragrance notes on this one are orchid, white lily, and spring moss. This is a very fresh floral scent. I love it. It makes me so happy every time I smell it, probably because it's a very nostalgic scent for me. This was one of my go-to home fragrances when I was living in LA. So every time I smell this candle, I'm immediately transported back to LA. Which leads me to my fifth and final home fragrance tip, which has to do with emotion. At the end of the day, regardless of price or sophistication level or prestige, a home fragrance should elicit an emotion out of you. Maybe it's a beachy scent that immediately evokes memories of a vacation to Hawaii you took a while ago, or maybe it's a floral scent that transports you back to your mom's flower garden you grew up with. Or maybe it's a scent that just simply makes you feel happy and you can't really put your finger on why. At the end of the day, our sense of smell is a deeply emotional sense, and home fragrance is the perfect vehicle for activating those happy feels. I don't know about you, but I'll take my dopamine hits wherever I can get them. And Macara by Voluspa is a big, fat dopamine hit for me. Also, you can use the lid as a little jewelry tray. How cute is that? So those were the candles I got yesterday, my little candle haul. Let me know in the comments below, what kind of home fragrances do you gravitate toward? Like, what fragrance notes do you love? Do you have a brand that you specifically like? Let me know below. And remember, your apartment is destined to be pretty and to smell pretty, and you are pretty powerful.